Hey everybody, welcome to Professor Long's Lectures in Anatomy and Physiology. I'm Professor Bob Long. If you're watching these videos, you're either in my class or you stumbled across them on YouTube. Either way, hit like and subscribe. If you're not in my class, then you need to learn the material the way that your instructor wants you to. I'm going to teach it the way that I want my students to learn it. Now, if you've been watching the previous videos, I drew out all the blood cells, red and white blood cells, and we talked about arteries and veins. And I did a video where I showed you projections of slides since we can't get our hands on microscopes. We're in this coronavirus shutdown, so you guys know that we can't be here using the microscopes. This is our model of the blood cells. And so I wanted to show you this. Now, if you've been following along, all the slides are listed on page 12 of our list of things to know, and you need just to identify those cells. You can also do the exact same thing on this model. This model is a representation of a small drop of blood. You can obviously see all these little red cells would be your erythrocytes. So if we ask you to identify one of these red cells, you would simply say erythrocyte. If I asked you to identify these small dark objects here, those are all platelets. So you can see your red blood cells or erythrocytes. You can see the platelets all over the model. Now, neutrophils are the most numerous of all the white blood cells. And so all of these cells that look rather pink but have this nice little multi-lobed, oops, not that one, but these two and these two up here are all neutrophils. Here's another neutrophil over here. These neutrophils can have multi-lobed nuclei that look all different from each other. Now these three, this one here, and this one here, are eosinophils. And one of the things that you can tell is they have these red granules in them. So you should be able to see that there's these little red dots on here, and those are your eosinophils. Now, basophils are the most rare of the white blood cells, so we only have one of them on here, and you can tell it's a basophil because it has all these little blue dots in its cytoplasm. So red is eosinophil, blue is basophil, and the neutrophils have the multi-lobed nuclei. Now these really large cells here, here, and here, these three really dark ones, are monocytes. Here I can see the nice C-shaped nuclei. Here they caught the back of the C, so it doesn't look like much. But these are definitely two monocytes. And finally, we have lymphocytes. The lymphocytes are these little things that are almost all nucleus with just a little bit of cytoplasm. This cell is actually what we call an activated lymphocyte. Some lymphocytes are dedicated to release antibodies, and when they do so, they fill up with all these antibodies and they look all swollen and angry and change color. So that's an activated lymphocyte. I'm not going to be asking you for that one, but they do get activated and swell up and then spit out all these antibodies when we're fighting infections. But these are lymphocytes, these two right here. Now, I hope that you can see from the video screen some of those dots, and I know that it's going to be hard to do that, so I'm going to zoom in, pardon me, but I'm going to zoom in really well here, and these two cells, or these three cells that you can see, are three totally different cells. Let me get my camera set up. So this cell right here is a neutrophil. It has granules in the cytoplasm, but they're not stained. This is a monocyte, and you can see the little tiny red granules in this other cell. That makes it an eosinophil. They're not super bright red, but let me see if I can get a little bit better lighting on here for you. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on that eosinophil. You can see there's little granules in there, and they should appear a nice bright red color. And the last one I'm going to zoom in on, and I want you to see, is the basophil. You can't miss the basophil because the blue dots are definitely very, very dark blue. So this is a lymphocyte. This is a basophil. You see some erythrocytes, and you see a nice platelet there. Again, it's a little hard to see the red granules on these models on an eosinophil. I'm going to show you one more little view. Pardon me moving the camera around. But the cell over here is an eosinophil, and I can tell because of these red granules in it, this would be a neutrophil, multi-lobed nucleus. Anyway, I hope that you guys can identify these cells. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. See you in the next video.